Hi, this is G Marikey with Marikey TV, and we are reporting live from the in-between. This Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we want to share some information with you that'll hopefully change the way you interact with your healthcare. Now, over to Gabriella at our headquarters. Thanks, G. Hi, I'm Gabriella Angeles, and I'm a writer director who has always loved using creativity and the process of art making to explore life and humanity. Most of my stories center Black women who are just trying to find new pieces of themselves in the mess of life. And that's because I am a Black woman who is just trying to find the pieces of herself in the mess of life. And a huge part of that now is being a breast cancer survivor. So let me share some statistics with you. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. Women under 40 are more likely to have aggressive forms of the disease and features associated with worse outcomes. Black women have a 40% higher breast cancer mortality rate than white women. Breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer death in Black and Hispanic women. You don't have to feel at risk for this to matter to you. Establishing trust with your body and your doctor is preventative care because early detection saves lives. My late stage diagnosis was a product of 2 things. The first being inadequate health insurance. The second thing is a deep distrust and lack of connection within myself. And both of those things are really important, especially when it comes to how you navigate your healthcare, which is really what I want to talk about. What's your relationship to your healthcare? Because before I turned 26, this was what mine was like. Anytime I need to go to the doctor, I'll go to my mom. I will make sure that I got our health insurance card. I would then get on ZocDoc, the little app, and then I would find whatever doctor that was closest or had the soonest time and go see them for whatever I needed, which was maybe like a prescription or something like that. I didn't really oftentimes go to the same doctor, and I would really just go when I needed something. And that was it. And I had no ideas of the inner workings of insurance, no clue. So when the time came for me to have things in order, guess what? They were not. I was in grad school when I turned 26 and got kicked off my parents' health insurance. I did what they told me. They told me to enroll in Obamacare, and I did. But at the time, I'll be honest, my priorities were making movies. I had school health insurance, so I didn't really think much about the Obamacare that I signed up for. Did I know my primary care physician? No. Did I even know what kind of plan I had? No. Did I know where in Los Angeles their office was? No. I knew nothing. And I told myself that I would get all of that in order when it was relevant. I also had this feeling that I could manage all of my health problems on my own. And so I think that arrogance just was kind of carrying me through. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about that lack of trust and disconnect within myself. There were a lot of things that I missed, or things that I interpreted as things that I can handle on my own, because I also didn't ever have a relationship with my doctors where I felt like I actually trusted them to know me and to understand me and to care about my care other than getting me the prescription that I need. Raise your hand if you have a feeling that you can manage all of your healthcare on your own. I would just encourage you to reflect upon whether or not you can use some actual assistance from healthcare professionals too. I think I definitely could have. It would have taken a lot of stress and pressure off. And also, it would have taken a lot less time for me to go to the doctor. Like I said, my experience with insurance was I need to go to the doctor. Here's the insurance card. They're in network. I go to the doctor. Everything else is handled by other people. Like, that's not my business, okay? I have it in my mind that I can just go see my same UCLA doctors that I'd been seeing. You know, on the website, it says UCLA accepts Medi-Cal, which is what the Obamacare is called in California. So I'm thinking that means I can just make an appointment and go to the doctor. I finally get everything in order. I go to the doctor's office. I'm there for my appointment. They call me up and they tell me,
we can't see you because you're not in network and your doctor did not recommend or refer that you come.
and I was like, I've never had to ask a doctor to see another doctor. That's weird. And how am I not covered? Online it says UCLA accepts Medi-Cal. Well, that's when I realized that there's a lot of insurance plans in Medi-Cal. And there's a reason why you need to be particular about what you pick. And it may seem silly now. But I'm 29 at this point. I just turned 29 years old. That means I have barely been an adult with my own insurance. And like I said, I was in school. Like, I was not prioritizing that at all. So I really had no idea how it worked. And I spent the next 3 months from that doctor's appointment trying to like get myself enrolled in the proper insurance so that I could see a doctor that I was comfortable with. And while I'm trying to like get an appointment, I'm also feeling the lump in my breast change, honestly. And it like continued to progress from something that I was like familiar with as a cyst to something that was like maybe not a cyst. And I still didn't have anyone to talk to about it. On top of that, I was sick way before I think I realized it. But because I was in school, I was so focused on making films that I had gotten into the habit of pushing a lot of things aside. And also, like, here's another truth that I don't think I've heard many people saying. When I started to feel like something was wrong, I was so afraid of that feeling that I denied it. And I didn't want to trust again the signals that my body was giving me until it was too late. Let me share another tidbit with you about insurance. When it comes to making changes to your plan, enrolling in something else, these kinds of things, these changes are not instant. And like in an instant gratification world where I'm used to signing up for things instantly, I also had it in my brain that the changes I was making online would show up instantly. And that's not the case when it comes to making insurance changes. You can change, and things take a cycle to kick in. And if you don't make that change between the 1st and the 15th of the month, then the change you make has to apply for the month after that. Now, I want to break this down so I can be abundantly clear about what I mean. So, if I were to log into my insurance to make any changes between October 1st and October 15th, those changes will activate starting November 1st, right? But if I were to make any changes between October 16th and October 31st, those changes won't activate until December 1st. And that simple, small detail got me so caught up as I was trying to constantly change my insurance plans to find a PCP for a doctor near me that I felt comfortable going to. And that feeling comfortable is really important because the more and more I got scared about what was happening in my breast, the less I wanted to go see a doctor that was overworked in a place that was overstaffed and didn't have the resources to like really prioritize what I was dealing with, you know? Like a lump is scary. And in my brief time navigating, the free healthcare, that's like that's waiting on hold for 45 minutes before you talk to anyone kind of insurance, Like that's wait all day for changes insurance. Like it's under resourced. It's not the same as my mom's bank employer insurance. And navigating that was so confusing. I want to give you all a timeline so that you can really understand the importance of why staying covered matters. In June of 2023, I graduate from grad school. In September, at the end of September in 2023, my grad school health insurance ends. In October 2023, I realized that I need to see a doctor for a lump in my breast. From October to January of 2024, I am going back and forth between insurance plans, trying to find coverage that makes sense so I can see a doctor that I trust. In December, ultimately, my parents decide that they will pay for me to have some insurance so that I can see a doctor, which I still have to make another change to in January, which is why I don't see a doctor until February 2024. And I am so grateful that PCP that I was just assigned to, because I knew at that point I could not wait any longer. I just had to go to whatever doctor they assigned me to. I'm so grateful that doctor saw me and was immediately concerned and moved with so much urgency and got everyone in that office to move with so much urgency that I had a diagnosis within 2 weeks. And that diagnosis was stage 3C. That is the most advanced stage you can be at before you get to stage 4, which is metastatic and uncurable. I'm going to say that again. 3C. That is the last stage before stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. That was what we caught my cancer at. This shit is like kind of emotional to tell again, which it wasn't last time, but this time I'm recording it, it is. While trying to get diagnosed, I went from feeling a small lump in my breast that then, by the time I was diagnosed, had taken up my entire breast, as well as spreading to my collarbone and a lump in my armpit. That's how fast my cancer was growing. And that's what was growing while I was trying to get everything in order to see a doctor. And I, again, would never want this to happen to anyone else. So I'm going to walk through some really important healthcare information, vocabulary, tips and tricks, anything else I haven't already shared, so that you can have just a bit more confidence when it comes to navigating how to get the care you need. I have my notes, so let's start by talking about the different medical plans. The first one I want to talk about is Medicaid. Medicaid is a federally funded health insurance program for low-income individuals, like a poor grad student, right? It's called Medi-Cal in California, and it has a different name from state to state. And my parents, my loving Black parents, call it Obamacare, in case yours do too. It's important to note that Medicaid operates like an HMO. Now, what is an HMO? You may have heard those letters before. I know I had, but let me break it down. Okay. An HMO stands for a Health Maintenance Organization Plan, which is a health insurance plan that requires you to do a couple different things, okay? The first thing is you have to choose a primary care physician. And the second thing is you have to get a referral from that primary care physician to see any specialists of any kind. And third, you have to see doctors in hospitals that are in network. You don't have a choice. So basically, think of HMOs giving you the least amount of wiggle room. You can go where they tell you can go, and that's about it. Now, what I was used to before I had to be an adult and take care of all of this myself is a PPO, and that might be the kind of care that you're familiar with. A PPO is a preferred provider organization plan, which is a health insurance plan that, one, lets you see any doctor and any specialist that you want. It offers low costs for doctors and hospitals that are in your preferred network, but also lets you go and see whoever, providing partial coverage. The third thing to note is that because of these things, PPOs generally have higher premiums. HMOs are usually the more affordable plans, which makes sense because they give you less options. And PPOs, while you do have a lot more freedom, you do have to pay for it. I also wanted to take a moment to slide in here and talk about another really popular insurance company. I don't know a lot about them, but I know that you can choose their plans both in Medicaid and when you are choosing from the marketplace or from your employer, and that's Kaiser Permanente. Kaiser is a nonprofit that operates in its own ecosystem. And the thing that makes Kaiser unique is that they operate on a fixed cost membership model rather than a traditional fee for service insurance model. So you pay to be a member at Kaiser and you have access to doctors, specialists, and hospitals that are all within the Kaiser network. And you're only going to professionals that are in the Kaiser network, but that's kind of the allure for them. Now, there are some other really important vocabulary words when it comes to navigating health insurance that were definitely confusing to me when it comes to what your money is going towards. So let's go ahead and break that down too. So the first word that I think I already said is the premium. The premium is what you pay monthly for the insurance plan. So think of it as the price that you see when you're scrolling in the marketplace and you're looking for how much your insurance will cost. It's the money that comes out of your bank account towards your insurance every month that either you're paying or your employer is paying. Your premium is what you pay to have insurance, okay? Your deductible is what you pay before your insurance kicks in and starts co-paying with you. There's a certain amount that you have to pay out of pocket before your insurance starts kicking in. Once you meet your deductible, what kind of happens is your insurance is paying with you until you meet your out-of-pocket max. Then they take over all other costs after that. Now, the final money vocab word that's important to know is copay. And a copay is the set fee that your healthcare plan assigns for things. I know it takes more than vocabulary words and a personal anecdote for people to really feel like they are in control and confident when it comes to getting the care that they need. But I hope that this is a start because I feel like having to fight for this information has given me a lot of confidence, but I wouldn't want everyone to have to fight tooth and nail to get the care and the information that they need. Having good health care has literally saved my life. Like, I can sit here and say that I am cancer free after having stage 3C cancer because we fought tooth and nail to make sure that I got the care that I needed. And this was only the first step, but it was a really important one. And while this is only my first step in giving this information to you, I hope it is still really helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in and for taking the time to learn a little bit about the inner workings of the shit that we have to deal with. Like, don't even get me started yet in this video on the importance of us having affordable healthcare and the things that are jeopardizing that. That's not what I'm here to talk about right now. even with all that said, I would hate for anyone to not have the care that they need when they need it most. You never know. It takes nothing to go from being healthy to being unhealthy. It takes nothing at all. Okay, life comes at you so fast. And I just want us all to be as prepared as we can be. I think there is so much to be said beyond just advocating for yourself when it comes to getting the care that you need and the treatment for the things that you feel is wrong. And a part of advocating for yourself is being confident and knowing what you're advocating for and trusting within yourself what you're feeling. And I want you to know, from me to you, that knowing that you have in your gut, that feeling that something is a little off, that like something is not right, don't gaslight yourself into thinking that you're wrong. That feeling is fact enough for you to go get it checked out. And if anyone tries to diminish the feelings and the knowing that you have in your body, you need another doctor immediately. All doctors are not created equal out here. And you are the one who knows best what's happening to you. And don't let anyone try to tell you that it's not that serious, because it is. So trust yourself and listen to yourself. And know that it is so much better to have gone in with curiosity and confidence that you needed something and to be wrong than to have worried about whether you should have said something way long ago. It's all very nuanced and it's way easier said than done. Like, I am fully aware of that. But I think it takes small wins and small practices to be able to sit in front of a medical professional and say, this is what I need. And if you're not going to give me that, then I have to go elsewhere. Even if you can't trust me, I'm just a girl. Trust yourself, because that is more than enough. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make me a promise that you're going to at least consider how you can show up a little more confidently and with a little more knowledge about your healthcare. And if there are any questions you have, feel free to ask. I'm not an expert, but I love to help because I think we all need a little bit of assistance trying to navigate the messiness that is the U.S. healthcare system. It's not cute. It is not cute, and they are not designed to make it simple, okay? So if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, tips, please share them. Share them with me. Talk to me. I'm here. I want to be a resource for anyone, but especially my women who are going through breast cancer and are dealing with the impacts of all of this on their bodies and their identities while also trying to figure out how to get the care for it. It's a lot. It's a lot. For my breast cancer survivors, thrivers, and newly diagnosed, I am here with you and you are not alone. There are resources out there and people that want to help. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you all next time. And I'm going to send it back to G. Mary Key in the field. We're committed to bringing you the most cutting-edge confusion about what's going on in the world and how we plan to survive, thrive, while staying alive in the process. Thank you for joining us in the in-between. I'm G. Mary Key, and remember to put a piece of yourself in everything that you create.